on our last program, we talked about the black stone, right?
Yeah.
Kissing the black stone, which was a pagan idol, and bowing down towards the Kaaba, which was a small pagan temple.
Exactly.
And these are pagan practices, and so we wanted to point out that Islam adopts pagan rituals as part of the heart of Islamic worship, right? So now we're not just talking about the idols, we're talking about the religious practices associated with those idols, that Islam adopts pagan practices as part of the 5 pillars, right?
Exactly.
So what are we talking about here? What is the Hajj?
Well, that's the pilgrimage that you must perform in Mecca, where you visit the Kaaba and perform the rites associated with the Kaaba, such as running
So did Muslims invent this?
No.
Okay.
They'll even admit to you that these were practices observed by the pagans before Muhammad. But their justification for it is, but Ishmael settled there.
We have any records of Ishmael being there?
None whatsoever.
Have any records of Abraham having
Never.
anything to do with this?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
But we do have admission from Muslim sources the pagans were doing it.
Okay.
So at least they admit that part. And so what Muhammad did was, he repackaged these pagan rituals in a monotheistic context. In fact, I encourage all Muslims to get a copy of the Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation of the Quran with the commentary, and read throughout chapter 2 of the Quran and see his commentary, where he basically admits that Islam spiritualized these practices that the pagans were actually observing. So he has to admit, these are pagan practices, but Muhammad supposedly purified them and spiritualized them and restored them to their true meaning.
So the pagans are taking a trip to Mecca. The pagans are walking circles around this building.
For their 7 planetary deities, by the way.
The pagans are kissing this rock. The pagans are doing are saying their prayers, bowing down to this building. The pagans are throwing this stone. We're going to do all of that, but we're going to do it for Allah, and that makes us not pagans, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And so what we see here is Islam doesn't come and say, hey, stop these pagan practices. Islam comes along and says, we're going to adopt all of these pagan practices. And that's the true religion, right? And they condemn the pagans. Very interesting stuff.